Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we're going to go over the Demon Hunter build, which revolves around the full Marauder set and the sentries and the damage that it does. And currently, this is pretty much the end-game build that you're trying to look for. And you've probably seen this already. If not, we're going to go over it real quick, kind of give you guys an idea if this is something you're shooting for, some of the gear you're looking for. Obviously, you need the Marauder set, and we'll go over that here in 1 second. We'll go over the skills here really quickly. For our primary, we're running with Entangling Shot, and this is more for crowd control. Running with Chain Gang, and this just allows us to slow down a few more enemies that we wouldn't necessarily be able to get to before. You can certainly run with Justice to Serve still. This turns it into fire, plus you get the extra hatred back if you're one of those people that are active in shooting skills while your sentries are up. You can certainly go any number of routes with any of these skills. It can pretty much be anything you want to play with. You're going to try and look for a fire skill. If you have the Crider Shot bow, you can certainly run with Elemental Arrow. A lot of people are running with Screaming Skull because it does quite a bit of damage there. And the Crider Shot actually allows you to gain hatred as opposed to spend hatred with this skill. But for now, we are running with Entangling Shot. The other one is your main attacks, and I say attacks plural because the way the sentries work, they actually have a rotation. They don't just attack one at a time. They're actually on a cooldown, so if you're running just multi-shot or just cluster arrow, it's actually going to be on a cooldown that you're not going to be able to get as many shots off. So you're actually going to run two main attacks, and those two attacks, which are by far the most damage, especially fire skills, you're going to run with multi-shot with Arsenal, and this is going to launch some rockets out as well every time you fire. So those are going to be out there searching, doing a lot of damage, the fire damage there. The other one is Cluster Arrow loaded for bear. You've certainly seen this in previous videos. It's been one of the #1 skills since Reaper of Souls came out, and we just kind of skipped ahead. But the other skills that we're going to go over here, Vault, I like this just because it keeps us out of danger. It's kind of important, you know, to stay alive, especially as a Demon Hunter. And this is one way to do it. And I'm actually using Rattling Roll just because this allows me to stun enemies if I'm getting trapped in an area. I'm able to stun them, get out of the way, and just have that split second to get out of danger. You can definitely run with Marked for Death, especially if you're in group play. You can run something with like Contagion, something like that. Any number of you know, skills that you could run with there. Just kind of have fun with that. The other one, of course, is the most important one, is Sentry. And right now we're running this with Spitfire Turret just because it allows us to do a little bit quicker runs. This shoots out rockets that are going to do fire damage. So this is a good one to have with your sentries that's also going to be shooting out your main attacks. So this is just a sheer damage one. The other one, depending on what torment you're running and if you're having survivability issues, you can run with Aid Station. And this heals you for 1% per second. And the fun thing about this one is that you can be fighting up here. There's a lot going on. Let's say there's an explosion, you're trapped. You know, you're going to take damage eventually. Nobody's perfect, so you can pretty much run around a corner. Let's pretend there's a wall here. And then while those are doing their damage, you can stand here in the aid station and heal yourself. And it's a good way to heal yourself up while other things are going on, while either your pets are taking damage and they're tanking, or whether you're in group play and they're tanking. You know, you can go with the, you know, just hide around the corner. It's a good way. It's a neat little trick to have there if you're having a little bit of survivability issues, or you're just in a high torment and you know you're going to be taking damage. It's, of course, good for allies as well, especially melee if you stack it right on top of them. Just every little bit does help. But we're going to stick with Spitfire here. And again, like I said, Cluster Arrow loaded for bear. And that's because these are on a cooldown. And there's actually a good post on the forums about breakpoints on how quickly they're going to shoot. I don't have those numbers here in front of me, but they are good. That way you know like what gear, what where you're going to put your points, whether you need more increased attack speed, less than increase. And so that'll affect your rotation that you won't see, and that's just going to be your sentries popping off those two shots. So it might be good to look those up, especially if you're deciding between a one-hander and a two-hander, and exactly how effective you want to be. Lastly, we've got Companion, and that's the other benefit of the Marauder set. And you'll see the 4 and 6 piece. The 4 piece gives you all companions, which is pretty neat. You get the spider, you get the boar, you get the wolf, and you get the bat that's flying up there. The other, of course, the 6 piece, your sentries cast your hatred spenders. So that's an awesome set to have. And the good thing is, when you do pop your companion, you actually get the increased bonus. You get all of the different things here. You get the hatred, you get the spiders that pop the webs down. You get all the different things that go on, which makes this pretty awesome to have. Moving on to the passives, awareness must have, especially if you're playing high torments. It's just one of those things you got to do. This increases your armor by 30% of your dexterity. Perfectionist increases your life, armor, and resistances by 10%. Also pretty much a must-have if you're looking for survivability. If you're running with a good group, you have good crowd control, maybe you can go away from one of these, but generally you're going to keep both of those. Archery, I'm holding on to this at the moment. I've got just the hand crossbow, and I've got the 5% crit hit chance there. Just something I like with the extra damage there. If you're running with a bow, there's the increased damage there. You can go a bunch of different routes here. If you don't like that, if you're just looking for something else, you can go with steady aim if you're running group play. And if you're staying back far enough, you get the extra 20% damage there. Singled out is a good way if you're fighting a boss. I would definitely swap that out maybe here or here. So you can go with a couple different options with the passive. The other one I do like, and this is, depending on playstyle, if you're running with a quick group, this isn't one of those things that you're going to keep around. It'll only be effective really on boss fights or, tough elites. If you're running around solo, this might be something you'll consider. It increases your sentries, the life of them, by 100%. I guess I should say the duration there. Plus, you go from you get to increase the maximum number to 3, and you couple that with the gear that you have. Especially if you have this, like I said, this is fairly gear dependent. This gives you an additional 2, so you could have 5 sentries up, which is a pretty staggering number considering the amount of damage that they're dealing with these 2 skills here. And we'll go and we'll do a little bit of gameplay right after this, so you can see these in action. So just hang tight, and we'll show you exactly how this works. So we're keeping these up. This works really good on your big bosses, Rift Guardians, depending on where you're at. So like I said, you could also run with singled out if there's not going to be anything else around. A couple different ways you can go there. Gear wise, and we'll go over this pretty quickly. Marauder set, I have the Royal Ring of Grandeur, so I'm only needing 5 pieces at the moment. If not, you're going to need all 6 pieces, which the other one is the chest piece. So the other thing that we're going to look at is the other gear that we have. We're still rocking the Cinder Coat because we only have to have those 5. We've got the increased fire skills damage, and if we're staying active, this reduces the resource cost of our fire skills. And so if we've got all of our sentries up, we can go ahead and pop our own shots. And that's really going to be for your boss fights, not much else, so you're going to find yourself being too active there. Amulet here, we've got dexterity, crit hit chance, crit hit damage, and then the fire damage. Same for Reaper's Wraps, always good to keep those around. Like I said, if you're staying active, else you can go with any number of bracers there. We've got the fire damage on there. The other key item here is the Bombadier's Rucksack, and this allows you to have 2 additional sentries, which we covered. This is fairly important, especially if you're wanting to get the max amount of sentries up. It's really good to have around. Cool one here that we do have, if you don't have one of these, it's certainly one to look for. The Harrington Waistguard. The stats are, so-so. But the secondary, opening a chest grants 117% increased damage for 10 seconds. And that number can vary. But the cool thing about that is it's not just chest. It's also, the dead bodies that are on the ground, armor racks, all the things that you click on that are going to open and possibly drop loot. It's going to proc that. And you'll see that. It's going to do there, and we've got the increased damage there, which is pretty incredible. This is a nice item to have, especially if you're in a class that doesn't need a belt for a set item. This is a good item to have pretty much all the way around for all of your classes. So weapon, like I said, we're just running a one-hander because we've got some damage on it. Certainly looking for something else, but this is where we're at. The other good thing is if you have some cooldown reduction, it's going to bring your sentries up quite a bit quicker. Right now we're at 36%. It's nothing you have to go out of your way to max out. But the more you have, the better. You're also going to be able to cast Companion quite a bit more. So there we've got 3 sentries up. So that's it, guys. That's the build. That's the gear. If you want to stick around, we're going to do a little bit of gameplay here. So go ahead and hang tight, and we'll show this in action so you guys can see exactly how this is going to go and how effective it can be. All right, so we will run into, we've already done a little bit. We'll go ahead in the Festering Woods here. Should be fairly crowded. And wherever you point and hit the button is where your sentry is going to drop. So you can point way over here, and you'll see all of our sentries start to come up here and just completely wreck anything and everything in sight. So we'll go ahead, we'll start popping these up. As you can see, 1 is good, 2 is better, and even more and more and more. And see these up. We've got all 5 up now. They're pretty much targeting this elite here. He is going down quite rapidly. And just like that, Torment 5, he's dead. That is how effective the sentries can be. Obviously, if you're fighting different groups, it could be a little bit more difficult. Again, you might want to run Aid Station. It's going to depend on you. And we'll run Vault here so you can see exactly how it stuns the enemies. That would be a good thing to have there, especially if you're looking to get out of danger. You can actually push the pace pretty quickly with this, especially if you're trying to get in behind enemies, hit them from all angles. I'm trying to find us a dead body or something that we can get the Harrington on, but get here in just 1 second. But this is the build. These guys do sometimes continue to be quite a pain, especially with this. This might be one of those ones where you revert back to using just, your cluster arrow on its own. Luckily our pets are keeping them pretty well contained, and we'll just go ahead and pop off our own cluster shots there and go ahead and finish him off. So that's a good way to get him down. I don't recommend trying to chase him with sentries. That can be quite a challenge. I've actually tried it before. It doesn't work that well. We'll go ahead and do this event real quick so you guys can see. We'll just go ahead and get all these up, especially if you're about to pop a shrine and you have the Nemesis bracers, or you're about to fight an elite. Go ahead and get all these up, and you'll see things are just going to die very rapidly. And I'm pretty much just going to stand here, and we'll get the elite to pop up here in just 1 second. You'll see again just how fast these guys go down. I love this build. It's almost a little too easy just because you have to sit around and do nothing. You can try and be a little bit more active by popping some cluster shots, but as you can see, T5, my pet's tanking. I've got the the Templar standing around. He's doing his thing. Makes it quite a bit easier all the way around. So that's it, guys. If you like the video, I definitely appreciate any like you got to throw this way. We're going to be doing quite a few more videos before 2.1 comes out, and when 2.1 comes out, we're going to keep you guys up to date with a lot of the latest builds. I've been farming quite a bit of gear on all my characters to make sure that we are ready, fully charged, and then the minute those come out, we are going to have builds galore for you guys, and it still could be a little ways away. So in the meantime, just stick around. As always, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. Any support, feedback, any questions you guys have, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Definitely appreciate that. And as always, guys, happy hunting, and we'll finish this off. And after that, we'll see you next time. As you can see, we will finish this guy off very quickly. That's it. That's the Marauders build, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. As always, see you next time. Happy hunting.